As the clock ticked towards midnight on November 28, 1944, an unsettling silence enveloped the Yokosuka naval base. In stark contrast, the 70,000-ton silhouette of the Shinano glided silently into the dark waters of the Pacific. This wasn't just a ship. She was Japan's final beacon of hope, a towering aircraft carrier born from the remnants of the legendary Yamato-class battleships. Inside her steel belly, the atmosphere was charged with a mix of adrenaline and uncertainty. Welders, clad in oil-smeared uniforms, hurriedly sealed pipes, their sparks illuminating the dimly lit corridors. Mechanics, working under flickering lanterns, tightened screws and checked equipment, their hands moving with a sense of urgency, but not yet a certainty. Most watertight doors had never faced the true test of the sea. Despite the chaos, a stark demand echoed from Tokyo: get the Shinano out. Not because she was operational, but because terror of American bombers loomed larger than the dangers of the ocean. As the ship set sail under a moonless sky, the crew felt that looming shadow of fate beneath the waves, a reminder that they were venturing into the unknown, a journey that some would never return from. Shinano was a marvel on paper, a testament to the heights of Japanese engineering, but in reality, she was built on a foundation of hubris rather than true strength. With armor thicker than any aircraft carrier ever constructed, capable of withstanding 12 torpedo hits, she was designed to be a symbol of power amidst a waning war effort. There was an air of confidence as she took shape, a belief that this colossal vessel could turn the tide against American forces. Yet, beneath that polished steel lay a perilous illusion. The very design that promised invincibility was deeply flawed. While armor was prioritized, the critical aspect of survivability was neglected. Safety drills for the crew were skipped, compartments remained unfinished, and extensive training was hurried. A recipe for disaster. Imagine standing on the deck of this gigantic ship, surrounded by the craftsmanship that was supposed to guarantee victory, yet feeling a nagging doubt in the back of your mind. Each rivet, each plate of metal whispered a disheartening truth: we can still win. But those whispers betrayed the reality. Japan had created a fragile giant, a monument to overconfidence in a war that was already slipping from their grasp. In their quest for dominance, they built an icon of defeat, a powerful reminder that sometimes ambition without preparation can lead to calamitous results. Beneath the calm surface south of Japan, the USS Archerfish prowled like a ghost haunting the depths of the ocean. Inside, Commander Joseph Enright felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. His previous command had ended in failure, a missed opportunity that still gnawed at him. Redemption was all that occupied his mind as the submarine glided silently through the darkness, radar scanning the horizon for a target that could validate his leadership. At precisely 8:00 p.m., a faint echo flickered across the radar screen. It was large, fast, and moving erratically, zigzagging in the water. Enright's heart raced as his eyes found the periscope focus. Peering through the lens, he spotted something extraordinary, a massive vessel slicing through the night like a predator in its element. He didn't know it yet, but he was staring at the famed Japanese battleship, the Shinano. For the next 6 hours, the Archerfish shadowed her, the submarine becoming a spectre in the vast ocean. Inside, the tension thickened the air, almost palpable. Every crew member was acutely aware of their surroundings, beads of sweat forming on brows as they remained silent, each minute ticking by as they waited for that perfect moment to strike. The bond between man and machine deepened, both yearning for their chance to rewrite the narrative of failure written in the past. Now all that mattered was patience and precision. They were poised for a moment that could change their fate forever. At 3:00 a.m., the darkness was profound, wrapping around the USS Archerfish like a shroud. Inside the cramped confines of the submarine, tension filled the air as they watched the massive carrier shift slightly on the surface, exposing her underbelly, a dangerous vulnerability for any ship. It was a moment that would change everything. Commander Enright's voice cut through the silence. Fire! With that simple command, 6 torpedoes launched, slicing through the water like silent arrows, aimed with precision. The crew's hearts raced, the world outside becoming a blur as they held their breath, waiting for the inevitable. 45 seconds felt like an eternity. Each tick of the clock echoed louder than the last, building anticipation that gripped the men aboard. Then, without warning, 4 thunderous detonations erupted in the depths below. The echoes of those explosions resonated through the hull, deep and heavy, each sound a testament to the power they wielded beneath the waves. Yet amidst the cacophony, something unexpected unfolded. Silence. No counterattacks, no retaliatory blasts, just the soft, steady hum of the sea. In that moment, the crew sensed it was over. They didn't yet know the magnitude of their achievement. They had just sunk the largest warship ever destroyed by a submarine. As dawn approached, the enormity of the event loomed just out of reach, leaving them in awe of their silent triumph. As the torpedoes struck beneath Shinano's armored belt, the ship transformed from a steel fortress into a turbulent maelstrom. The once confident hum of engines was replaced by the terrifying roar of seawater rushing into boiler rooms and storage decks. In mere moments, the ship that was built to withstand the fiercest attacks was under siege from nature itself. Power flickered ominously, casting shadows over the crew as pumps sputtered and fell silent, leaving them to grapple with the developing nightmare. Captain Toshio Abe, a seasoned leader, had always trusted in the promises of his engineers. This vessel was designed to be unsinkable. With determination etched on his face, he ordered full speed ahead, betting everything on the hope that reaching shallower waters might bolster their chances of survival. Yet with every knot gained, the relentless tide surged further into the ship's depths, now dragging her ever closer to disaster. 30 minutes passed, but for those aboard, it felt like an eternity. The vessel began to list ominously, tipping 5 degrees to starboard. Amidst this chaos, the crew worked feverishly, stuffing mattresses into leaks, tightening pipes with whatever wrenches they could find, and issuing desperate prayers to the sea, hoping for a miracle. The tension in the air was palpable. In those critical moments, the reality struck hard. The ship they believed to be invincible was succumbing to the very elements it was designed to defy, drowning from within as the ocean exacted its toll. By dawn, the enormity of the situation was starkly apparent. The Shinano, a titan of the seas, tilted dangerously, her list reaching 10 degrees, then 20 degrees. Like a scene from a nightmare, destroyers circled helplessly around her, their crews stricken with confusion. The heart of the carrier was a mix of recruits and shipyard workers, men who had never faced such chaos. Panic spread like wildfire as they scrambled in disbelief while the pumps stubbornly refused to start. Cables snapped under impossible strain, tearing the air with a jarring sound. Captain Abe stood resolute, embodying the spirit of a steadfast leader in the face of disaster. Despite the chaos, he refused to concede defeat. In a desperate bid to save his ship and crew, he ordered towing cables to be secured, hoping powerful escorts could pull the beleaguered Shinano towards safety. The moment those cables took the weight, they broke instantly, a brutal reminder of the ship's vulnerability. By 9 a.m., the carrier had succumbed to her fate, coming to a standstill in the vast ocean, no longer the formidable force she was designed to be. As the deck tilted more steeply beneath their feet, reality hit home. Men began jumping overboard, driven by sheer instinct as the world around them began to unravel. Then, at 10:18 a.m., Captain Abe made the heart-wrenching decision to abandon ship. But for many, it was already too late. With a gut-wrenching lurch, the Shinano rolled over, stern first, disappearing into the depths of the ocean, and with her, the lives of 1,400 men. The silence that followed her sinking was profound, a haunting void left in the waves, a painful reminder of loss. Each life lost was more than just a number. They were brothers, sons, and friends, each with dreams unfulfilled and stories that would never be told. In that tragic moment, the sea claimed a part of history, a stark testament to the chaos of war and the fragility of human endeavor. In Tokyo, an eerie silence enveloped the city. The Shinano, Japan's pride, its greatest warship, had been lost to the ocean just 17 hours after it set sail. The Navy, shaken by this disaster, enforced an ironclad vow of silence among survivors. They returned home, haunted, their eyes carrying secrets too heavy to bear. The official order was clear. No one was to speak of the event. Records were sealed tighter than the ship's hull, effectively erasing the tragedy from history. The press, terrified of repercussions, chose to remain silent as well. Yet among the officers, whispers turned to hushed tones. The subject became taboo, a ghost that floated through the ranks, evoking shame and sorrow. For Japan, this loss wasn't merely about a ship. It was an existential wound, a stark reminder of an empire in decline. In losing the Shinano, they faced not just a military failure, but an uncomfortable truth. Their arrogance had clouded their judgment, and their greatness was crumbling beneath them. The fear of admitting failure loomed over the nation, and in that silence, the weight of denial buried deeper into the sea. As Enright sat aboard the USS Archerfish, the weight of what had just transpired was still settling in. He had executed an audacious mission, sinking what he believed to be a formidable vessel. But as he reported his victory, he could hardly fathom the disbelief echoing from the analysts back at Pearl Harbor. They cautioned against jumping to conclusions, dismissing his claim as just another tall tale from a submariner. It wasn't until Japan's surrender that the true magnitude of his achievement came into focus. Enright had not merely sunk any ship, he had obliterated the largest aircraft carrier ever constructed. This victory didn't go unnoticed. For his bravery, Enright was awarded the Navy Cross, and his crew received the prestigious Presidential Unit Citation. Yet beyond the accolades, their success represented a seismic shift in naval warfare. Power would no longer be measured in sheer size and armor, but redefined by stealth, precision, and the ability to gather and utilize information effectively. This would reshape the very fabric of maritime conflict for generations to come. Enright's triumph wasn't just a personal victory, it was a timeless lesson that altered the course of naval history. The loss of the Shinano was more than just the sinking of a vessel. It was the end of an era, a somber reflection of the belief that raw power could withstand the relentless march of innovation. Imagine standing on the deck of this colossal ship, built to symbolize Japan's indomitable spirit, only to watch it succumb to the very forces it sought to dominate. As the Pacific waters calmed, they carried away not just the remnants of steel, but the fading hope of the Imperial Navy, once seen as invincible. This was a stark reminder that in warfare, might is not everything. Aircraft, submarines, and radar were emerging as the new champions of the battlefield. Ships like the Shinano, once hailed as marvels, became relics in a rapidly changing landscape. In that moment, the illusion crumbled. No nation could expect to defy the tide of progress by simply relying on pride and past glories. The ocean had claimed Japan's ultimate dream of strength, signaling the end of the supership and the philosophies that built them, reminding us all that innovation never sleeps. The wreck of the Shinano rests silently, 4,000 feet beneath the waves, a haunting backdrop to a story untold by photographs or grand battles. Once heralded as Japan's greatest battleship, she now serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers of overconfidence. Picture the commander, eyes set on victory, unaware that just one submarine and a few torpedoes would alter the course of history. As the ocean enveloped her, what remained was not just metal, but a lesson, humility. In that deep silence, the Shinano whispers to us all, teaching that sometimes pride can sink faster than steel,